morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to Edison Township. I'd like to welcome Mayor John McCormac from Woodbridge, New Jersey, Mayor Charles Butrico from South Plainfield, New Jersey. I'd like to welcome Councilwoman Chrissy Butis from South Plainfield and Councilman Rob Karabinchek from Edison Township. And now, a very warm welcome to Ed Potosnak, our Democratic candidate for Congress from New Jersey's 7th Congressional District. Today, we're here to talk about the importance of Ed Potosnak's candidacy and how important it is for our towns that he is elected this November. Ed is a science teacher and a small business owner. He understands what business owners and teachers are going through in this tough economy. He understands that investing in education is an investment in the future success of our economy. In Congress, Ed will work hard to get the support we need for our communities. That's why I will work hard to bring out my voters in Edison Township. We will support Ed Potosnak for Congress this November 2010. And now I'd like to turn the podium over to the Mayor of Woodbridge, John McCormac. Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm also happy to be here today, joined with the Middlesex County Mayors of New Jersey's 7th Congressional District. I want to thank Mayor Ricigliano for hosting this morning. Ed is an extremely hard worker and will bring real-world experience to Congress. Ed has always worked 2 or 3 jobs at a time, both to put himself through 2 degrees at Rutgers, as well as when he was a teacher. I'm glad that Ed chose my hometown of Woodbridge to house his campaign headquarters. Ed knows that putting his campaign office on Main Street in Woodbridge sends a message about the reasons he's running for Congress. Ed knows that this campaign is all about creating jobs and making sure that our economy gets back on track. There's no better place to do this than Woodbridge. Because he is such a hard worker, I will work hard to bring out my voters for Ed this November. And I'd now like to hand the podium over to Mayor Charles Butrico of South Plainfield.
Good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to thank Mayor Ricigliano for hosting this event today, and for her and Mayor McCormac for joining me here to support Ed in his candidacy for Congress this November. The 3 of us, the 3 mayors here, represent almost 250,000 people who are dealing with just the daily struggles of the economy. And just our current representation in Congress is just not cutting it for those people, and we need a change. Let me tell you a little about Ed. First, Ed is a teacher who holds a strong passion for making sure our children are educated and prepared to be competitive in the 21st century. We're in a time when we're seeing jobs moving offshore and technology expertise moving with it. This needs to change. As a small business owner, Ed knows the best way to keep jobs in our economy is by supporting small business. In Congress, he will work hard to support both small business owners' needs so that they have the ability to get the economy back on track. Because he understands the importance of small business to grow our economy, as well as working to make sure that our future generations are ready to compete in the global economy, I will work hard to make sure that the South Plainfield voters come out this year to support Ed in November. And now I'd like to turn the podium over to Ed to say a few comments. Ed?
Thank you all for being here. To Mayor Ricigliano for hosting us in Edison, to Mayor McCormac for welcoming my campaign headquarters to Woodbridge, to Mayor Butrico from South Plainfield for joining us today to represent the 7th District's Middlesex County component. I also wanted to extend my appreciation to Councilman Rob Karabinchek here in Edison, and also Councilwoman Chrissy Butis for joining us. I am so grateful for the support of these 3 fine mayors. My name is Ed Potosnak, and I'm running for Congress to represent New Jersey's 7th Congressional District. I'm a science teacher and a small business owner, and I want to work hard for the families and businesses here in New Jersey's 7th Congressional District. I am not a career politician. I was born and raised in New Jersey, and I put myself through college at Rutgers and undergraduate and graduate school, taking on extra jobs when necessary. I taught chemistry, biochemistry, and organic chemistry at Bridgewater High School for 8 years. And I want to instill a love of science and math that brought me into science, so that our next generation of American workers has the skills they need to be successful in an ever-increasing global economy. I know what it's like to hold a job. I know and understand what it's like to struggle and work hard to overcome obstacles. My opponent is a third-generation politician who doesn't have the life experience or the perspective to get us out of this devastating crisis and to prepare the next generation of American leaders and entrepreneurs. 3 years ago, I was selected as an Einstein Fellow, where I was sent to Capitol Hill to use my classroom experience and my real-world experience to advise politicians on education and science. I saw the best and worst of Congress. Too many career politicians, like my opponent, who put their political career above doing what is right for the people they represent. But I also saw when members of Congress put the needs of their districts above politics, and they have the potential to make a really big difference. My opponent, Mr. Lance, he went to Washington and put himself first. Mr. Lance has changed since going to Washington. He's not the Lance we knew. I'll go to Washington to get our priorities right. I'll reward businesses for creating and keeping jobs here, not for shipping jobs overseas. I'll help families afford to send their children to college, not bail out big banks. And we'll stimulate new research and growth to make sure that America leads the world in that ever-increasing global economy. For the last century, America has been the greatest nation on earth. And I'm afraid we're losing our edge. That the America you built, your parents built, that America, it's slipping away. We succeed when America leads, not follows. Congressman Lance has proven himself to be a follower. He votes the way of the conservative Republican leadership over 90% of the time. We need a leader who will put our district first, who is an independent thinker, and who has real-world experience. We need someone who is more willing to do what is best for you than what's best for their own political career. This nation was made great because of the hard work, perseverance, courage, and ingenuity of our forefathers. Too many career politicians, like my opponent, they're just more concerned with getting reelected than doing what's right, than representing us. And they're allowing the special interests that fund hundreds of thousands of dollars into their campaigns to control the agenda. They've put the needs of these contributors and Wall Street, big banks, the insurance industry, above the middle-class families living on Main Street. In tough times, we need strong leadership, real-world experience, people who care more about the people, the families, the businesses that they represent than being popular. Mr. Lance has had a chance to lead, and he's failed. It's time we get our edge back, and we start by getting our edge back by ridding Congress of career politicians and replacing them with real-world people, with real-world experience. When Congress voted to reform our financial markets and to protect Americans from schemes like the subprime mortgage crisis, Congressman Lance voted with Wall Street and said no, instead of voting with Main Street. When Congress voted to alleviate the burden on small business owners struggling to provide health care to employees, Congressman Lance voted no, again siding with special interest in insurance industries over small business owners in the middle class. So it should not surprise you at all that just this last week, when Congress went back for a very unusual special session to put teachers back in the classroom where they belong and ensure that our future, our students, our future leaders and entrepreneurs have the education they need to succeed, Congressman Lance said no. Not only did he say no, he said that the difference it would make in the 7th Congressional District was negligible. I don't know about you, the mayors of our town, that teachers in our schools, the difference they make is negligible. But I wholeheartedly disagree. And I think voters, come November, will join me in sending a very strong message to career politicians like my opponent, who put the needs of their biggest contributors and their own political careers ahead of our future, ahead of those students that he said no to. When I'm elected, I'll represent the business owner, the teacher, the families that are being squeezed in this recession, And I'll wake up every morning thinking, what can I do to make their lives better as their representative? We know that returning a politician wed to special interests is not the answer. My opponent, he's either forgotten or he doesn't understand what it's like to meet payroll, how difficult it is to grow a business, how you have to focus and work hard to pay your bills on time, how difficult it is to support one's own family, and to gain an edge on the competition. I understand, and I will represent your needs, represent your priorities, and use that real-world experience that I've gained over the years in the classroom in my small business to get our edge back. I know the campaign is going to be tough, but I have every confidence that the voters will recognize, as these mayors have, that I'm the right person for the job. I am so honored to have the support of Mayor Ricigliano, Mayor McCormac, and Mayor Butrico. And I know that with their help, I will win the support of voters in towns across this district. Thank you so much for coming, for taking time out of your day to stand here with me